What's up everybody, Cory here, and today we are reviewing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Quentin Tarantino's 9th film. Now he has amazing work up to this point, so is it going to hold up to the same standard? We'll break it down for you right now in Attack of the Review.
I'm Rick Dalton. It's my pleasure, Mr. Schwartz.
Call me Marvin. Put it there. That your son?
No, it's my stunt double, Cliff Booth.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood revisits 1969 Los Angeles, where everything is changing as TV star Rick Dalton and his longtime stunt double Cliff Booth make their way around an industry they hardly recognize anymore. The 9th film from the writer-director features a large ensemble cast and multiple storylines and a tribute to the final moments of Hollywood's golden age. The star-studded cast includes Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, and Emile Hirsch, just to name a few.
Are you an actor?
No, I'm a stuntman.
Look at me! So you still with Rick, huh? Still here.
You can do anything you want to him.
I hired you to be an actor, Rick, not a TV cowboy. You're better than that.
So being this is a Quentin Tarantino film, I was highly excited for it. I thought already by the previews it looked like a great film. I love the golden age of Hollywood, the 50s to 60s, even early 70s. A lot of the films that were coming out at that time were revolutionizing what you could do. You were getting films like Rosemary's Baby that's mentioned in the film, and it is just, a real good look into what it used to be. Because I feel like there was so many different standards that people hold to today that we didn't even think about back then. Even with some of the hippiness and some of the different aspects of the government portrayed, they left it really level-headed, and I thought that was really, really well played out by Quentin because his characters just had so much to offer. They had such a good heart buried inside of these kind of hard exteriors, with the exception of Margot Robbie, who plays Sharon Tate, because she honestly had a great portrayal of who Sharon Tate really was in the real world. But, having that knowledge of who these people were, like The Wrecking Crew was definitely a film I was familiar with, was just kind of cool. And Quentin really kind of built so much around that, which he has done in other films. Take like Inglourious Bastards, is a good look at what history used to be and what it could have been. And this is another film that kind of plays with that. And I think that's a really cool way to write a film. Like, it's a really cool way to tell a story and incorporate characters that could have changed things without actually changing anything, without it being relative to the story and not having it just changed just to change. I think that's just a really cool way of starting characters here, having real life here, and having it meet in the middle. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood really, really jumped into that. I just thought this was a really good trip to the movies when I came out of it, so.
Line?
Cut! Embarrass yourself like that in front of all those goddamn people!
I give the acting for this film an A+, because I thought this film had some of the greatest characters I've seen written down into a script in a long, long time. And leave it to Quentin Tarantino, a fantastic film and screenplay writer, that is just going to sit and put these things out there, because there's, he's got so much dialogue and so much wit that comes with the characters that I think that's really what makes them outstanding. You take like Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, and you've got both two different identities, but within a similar person. You can definitely see where Cliff Booth is a little bit more laid back, and he's accepted his role and who he is, and he enjoys the lifestyle. While Leonardo DiCaprio's Rick Dalton is not happy with where he is. He wants to get better. He knows he's got a good track record. He just can't seem to get the big break that he needs now. And he, at the beginning of the movie, blames it on himself. So, it's kind of one of those things where you're trying to fight for all these characters, and you want all of them to win because they're all lovable characters. And then the way the story starts to unplay, you start to see certain quirks or certain things about each one, and you're not positive about it. I won't try and give away too many spoilers, but here's a spoiler warning. When Brad Pitt, the play on his wife, it's like a very sensitive subject to play with, because that actually happens where people, will get away with murder in situations like that. But the comedy aspect of it is what makes it a little lighthearted. It's still a film. This is a fake character. This is not an actual death that really happened. So you can take it a little bit more lightheartedly, even though he's playing with ideas like the Sharon Tate Manson murders. So there's very fine lines that he walks in this film, and I thought he did it with great composure in his characters, because each character had such a funness to them that it made them lovable. And at the end of it, you couldn't hardly take anything too seriously, especially with the end of the film. I won't give that away, but it is something that you cannot take seriously, and that's what makes it so amazing. It makes it so much of a masterpiece for the end of this film that you're like satisfied walking out and you go, man, I wish that was how things actually happened. And I think for a lot of people it was a good time, and that all relied specifically, I think, on the character development and who each person brought out into the film. So well done. A+ for the acting.
That was the best acting I've ever seen in my whole life.
Like you.
Rick fucking Dalton.
For the cinematography, I gotta give the cinematography just an A, but it was still absolutely phenomenal. There were some of the greatest moments of, you know, the 1960s Cali vibe that I think you can really get into a film. Just a lot of cool sun, a lot of cool driving cars, a lot of, you know, epic wide shots of just what the city used to be. And they did a lot to turn, you know, LA into what 1960s LA looked like. And that's a totally different subject on its own, because if you had to go into the set design and things like that, oh, automatic A+ is everywhere. The film was truly, you know, just engulfed in what 1960s Hollywood should have been. For me, I thought there was a lot of cinematography that could have been upped. You know, it was like they showed some cool shots, almost more to show the fact that they put the time and effort into getting old cars or things like that to fill it out. One scene in particular at the beginning of the film, they're just driving out of a parking lot right after getting in that meeting with Schwartz, and as he's pulling out of the parking lot, it's just a stale shot, and it just kind of shows some bugs and some people hanging around being hippies, and that's about it. That's all you get out of the shot, and it's about a 7-second shot, and it stuck in my brain because I just thought this could have moved with the car. It could have done something a little better than just boom, this one static shot. There was also a couple jump cuts, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I thought they were really, really well played. And that goes more to the editing. That's just something normally people in cinematography will refuse to do a jump cut. But I thought that because maybe it was just cleaning up a little bit of the extra dialogue, maybe that was something that they decided to do last minute. They added like a little, you know, sound effect or something to go with it to make it seem like it was jumping for a reason. So I kind of ignored that, but other than that, those are those moments. Maybe a little bit of extra B-roll could have been added, something like that, and I strictly rely on the cinematography for that. As a cinematographer, you have to cover A, B, and C rolls. You know, you have to get everything and the mistakes that you can miss and the mistakes for the mistakes. You have to have yourself covered 900,000 times. So it's just my thing to watch it and think, if they're doing that for a reason. Sometimes audio, same thing. You can hear a difference. You can tell what's ADR and what's not, and they'll cut to a shot so you specifically don't see talking. Not a lot of that in this film. It was very raw, not a lot of CGI or anything, so I thought it was, you know, fantastic. Actually, I'm not even positive there was any CGI, and it's something that really stands out in the film. It really makes you feel like this is, you know, kind of a play on the Dazed and Confused days, even though that's probably a little bit older. It really made you feel like that time period was happening again. It made you feel like this is the way things were. And there was just a great, you know, feeling to the whole film. So I think overall the cinematography has to be an A.
Hey! You're Rick fucking Dalton. Don't you forget it.
So overall, I gotta give Once Upon a Time in Hollywood the coveted 5 out of 5 stars, because I thought it was one of the best films I've seen in the last 5, maybe even 10 years of my life. Probably the last time I enjoyed a film this much was most likely another Quentin Tarantino film, and I think it was The Hateful Eight, which is right up on my top list. I'm actually going to do worst to best ranking for Quentin Tarantino's 9 films that he's directed, so stay tuned for that, hopefully coming in the next couple days as well. But I really, really enjoyed this film, and I thought it was some of the best work I've seen in a lot of these people's careers. I thought the film was just really well thought out, and of course any film that has to do with show business already is kind of like fun. It's already kind of like a play on itself, because you're seeing what they're basically doing, and it's kind of so much more, you know, it developed when you get to see it that way. You get to really understand what's going on, and there's moments in this film I just absolutely loved. I'm so glad it was there. It really made me feel, you know, happy to go to the movies again, and so gotta give it 5 out of 5 stars. Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Go check it out now.
My hands are registered as lethal weapons. We get into a fight, I accidentally kill you, I go to jail.
Anybody accidentally kills anybody in a fight, they go to jail. It's called manslaughter.
Well guys, that's all the time we have for this review of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. If you've seen the film, let us know what you thought about it down here in the comments. As always, hit subscribe way over here for more videos in the coming weeks, and we'll see you again next time on Midnight Media TV.